see how this goes. Banning the Fill 6 from the support, Darbu. Probably been playing that quite a bit in their games. Also banning the Zed away from Edwin. Being one of the ones he does is one of the Zed players in the league. He's also a Yasuo player, so I imagine the Yasuo right here is going to be banned. And also the Lee Sin gets banned away from Predictive Gaming's jungler. And they're going to ban the Evelyn for the last ban. So let's see what their Predictive game is going to be a priority pick for the first pick. Imagine it's going to be something that something wanted flexible like the Jarvan. You can go top or jungle. We'll see how that goes. No Mercy Red does pick up the Poppy. Now, the big thing about this Poppy pick is this flexible between both support and the top lane. The support does play a lot of Poppy support, and also their top laner does play a lot of Poppy also. So we're going to see where this goes. If the Jarvan does stay in the top lane, I imagine the Poppy is going to stay in the top lane, because Poppy is actually a very good pick into the Jarvan, making it where he can never engage or disengage the Poppy if she times her W right, making ganks very easy onto the Jarvan, considering you basically negate his mobility. I think they're going to pick up the Rek'Sai, so that is a Jarvan top lane, and they also going to pick up the Nami, so you can't flex the Jarvan to the support. So we are all locked in for the rules. No flex picks for Team Predictive Gaming yet. We got the Nunu on No Mercy Red with the Sivir, making it very move fast comp, going to run at you and everything, and the Sivir being a nice late game insurance policy for their team as far as damage output is concerned. And the second round of bans, see how this goes. Gonna be on the Ezreal. Is pretty good, makes it hard for the Nunu and the Poppy to get on the Ezreal, being able to arcade shift away. They're also going to ban the Karthus, because once again they don't know where this Poppy is going, and their top laner does play a lot of Karthus, so that's definitely a solid pick to ban away. And they're going to ban Azir from the mid laner as their last ban for No Mercy Red. And they're going to ban mid lane's Echo away, being 3 bans targeted at the mid laner. We might see something like the Ahri come out, being a semi-safe blind pick here. They don't really have to. I would expect that they might pick their support or their top laner here, depending. Like I said, I definitely think the Poppy should go top. And we might be seeing the Jax against the Jarvan, which the Jax is also a decent pick into the Jarvan, because the Jax does outscale the Jarvan in the side lane, and once the level 6 does come through, the Jax trades are very strong. Definitely kind of disappointed, so the Poppy will be going into the support role, and they are leaving the last pick for the mid lane. I definitely think this hovers for the Alistar and the Draven are not going to happen. The Vayne is picked up for Predictive Gaming. This is something that says kind of a soft counter pick to the Sivir. The Sivir can push the Vayne in pretty hard in the early parts of the game, but then the Vayne does outtrade for single target damage. The Nico is picked up and going to the mid lane, and the Diana is picked up for Edwin as the counter pick to the Nico, which is pretty good. Being Nico being a regular control mage slash caster is kind of susceptible to those assassins, which Diana is a decent AP assassin. We don't see her too often because she does have some weaknesses in her kit that is exploitable, and that other champions do kind of prevent, shoring up that defense. So we'll see how this goes. As far as team fighting is concerned, definitely think that Predictive Gaming's team is very strong between the Jarvan ult and the Nico ult. and the Nami utility is going to be very good. And for those team fights, but for the side lane push, we do have the possibility of going a 1-3-1 between the Jax and the Diana, who are both running teleport, and the Jarvan on the top lane has not swapped, so he is going to stick with that ignite, try to get that early pressure and kills onto the Jax, but he swapped at the last second to the teleport. So this was definitely a composition where we can see the 1-3-1. We do have the Sivir, who's very good in the 1-3-1, being able to wave clear and kite away if that would be the case. And the Jax and the Diana are pretty much going to be unmatched, except for maybe the Vayne. But the Vayne's going to be very hard to be able to be in the side lane without being in their team, not getting engaged upon, without having the damage output. So what Predictive Gaming's team comp are looking to do is looking to run it down, being able to ult with the Jarvan and the Nami, being able to try to engage on whatever they see the enemy, being able to catch him out with the Rek'Sai and everything, and try to win team fights that way. While it really looks like Team No Mercy Red is wanting to split for the win, being that they have some very good split pushers. Their team fight isn't bad, but honestly it doesn't have a lot of the utility that a lot of characters would need for these team fights. And the Rek'Sai really needs to try to get their early game rolling. The Nunu is actually a really good early game jungler in the fact that he can kind of just be everywhere really fast with his snowball. His clear isn't terrible, and like his gank pressure isn't that bad. It's actually pretty decent, especially for these lane ganks with the snowball and everything. But in a straight up 1v1, he might not be able to beat the Rek'Sai, so we'll have to see how that goes. But it's on the onus of the Rek'Sai to try to get his team going, especially against something like this Jax and this Diana, which are going to be really big split push threats. So shutting them down is going to be #1 priority for the Rek'Sai itself. So we'll take about a minute break before the game starts. Waiting for the game starts. Once we get in the game, we'll come back and diagnose what's going on there.
Sorry, I'm taking care of some other matches that are happening right now. We have a rescheduled match that's happening right now that I'm trying to take care of some of the stuff for.
Don't worry, it's all good. Alright, and we have the pause from No Mercy Red, as always.
Come and take me closer to the edge now. If you think you can
game is being unpaused. And we'll see what's going on. Oh, we get another one. Alright, and they're finally unpausing the game for the second time. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Alright, so we got the Nico with... let's see what we got. I can't actually... transformed into the Rek'Sai. She's also got the slowing rune. I actually don't remember what it's called. So real quick. Glacial Aug for the Nico, which is very interesting. It's going to hint that she's going to be building some of those slowing items like the ghosties and the water gun that shoots out little icicles. And we'll see how that goes. The Jarvan with the electrocute, which isn't a bad rune, especially for harassment, and a little bit for not so much for all-ins compared to the Conqueror. Conqueror is obviously going to be a lot stronger. Being able to get the extra healing, the extra damage. But the cool thing about Jarvan with his with electrocute is that you can just auto and Q or E, doesn't really matter, and then press W and you proc the electrocute, which is really cool because for electrocute it does say that any abilities hit, they don't actually have to deal damage, so there's some nice little harassment things you can do. So for the teams that are playing, it is Predictive Gaming versus No Mercy Red. We do see the Jax going in for the trade. Winning out in the trade slightly. He does have the Corrupting Potion, which is actually going to let him be healthier in these long out trades. Kind of surprised that Jarvan didn't go for it himself, considering that the Doran Shield is more for range harass and just constant harassment itself, just so you can get the constant healing over and over. And we're going to see the flash stun from the Poppy with the ignite, and is that going to be enough to finish the Rek'Sai off? No, with the potion ticking, it will not be enough. Forcing the flash from the Rek'Sai, and honestly, it was very easy to predict that that the Rek'Sai couldn't get out because the Rek'Sai is level 2, and she is burrowed, so you know she doesn't have the tunnel ability unlocked to her, so you know that that was going to happen. So it was a very good play made by the Poppy. They just need one more hit, being able to kill the Rek'Sai in that early pathing. And this is also why you do ward the Scuttles, finding out where you are, and trying not to go with this one where the same jungler is. Even though the Rek'Sai is a nice jungler, she is a very level 3 type of a jungler. She doesn't have very good skirmishing at level 2 because she does need all 3 of those abilities to get the true damage and the burrow and everything in her mobility going. And we're seeing the problem with having a melee support, being that if you're against a ranged support, especially something like Nami, which is one of the best laning supports currently in the game, having a heal, harass, and some CC all combined, and some augments to 80 carry damage, it is very hard for the Sivir to be able to approach the wave and not get out-traded between the Vayne and the Nami. So we're going to have to see how this goes, especially with the Poppy not having a flash. They can't make any plays on that, and not having ignite either. Their kill pressure is significantly lower. As far as mid lane, the CS is even. Actually, the Nico is a little bit far behind because she did use her potion. The Jax is going in. Problem is, this is a wave and a half of minions that are stored up. It's going to be really hard for them to fight in. But the Jarvan might go down here, forcing the flash from the Nunu and the Jarvan. But Jax also uses flash defensively. it was just not a great time to gank. If that was going to happen, they really needed to have the Jax try to clean the wave up, thin it out, try to make it where they weren't going to take as much damage from that all in. So I expect both of them to teleport back relatively soon. The Jarvan teleporting back with the Doran's Blade and a long sword. Missing that wall stun with the Poppy. Very sad. Getting the 3 procs on from the Vayne. Not as good either. This bot lane is definitely going in favor of the Vayne, which is not very good, but it's to be expected with the fact that you do have the Poppy support. So they're just really going to have to wait and maybe wait for the Sivir to get a couple items so that she can just wave clear without really paying attention, ignoring that lane. And here comes the Nunu in with the snowball, but getting bubbled immediately. But the Vayne getting ignited and flashing away is going to live with their potion ticking. So both summoners being blown from the Vayne and the Ignite being blown from the Nami. The Ignite from the level 1 Poppy onto the Rek'Sai did come back up, but there are no summoners left except for the Nami Flash in the bot lane, so that probably would draw a lot of pressure from the junglers, seeing that the Rek'Sai and the Nunu might come back a lot sooner. Diana eating a little bit of poke. She's still at level 6. She should be hitting 6 relatively soon, I would expect, considering she did use that TP to get back to lane. And we'll see how this goes. Top lane down by 10 CS. A lot of it having to deal with the fact that there is a wave and a half building right here. Should be able to catch up for the most part on everything. Him himself buying a Ruby Crystal and a longsword. Taking this wave isn't really necessary. With the W reset and your Q, you should be able to farm under the turret. So you're just losing HP really for no reason. He's just trying to put on a freeze, but the Jarvan does have tools to try to prevent freezes between his Q and his E. So there's just something where it makes it where the Jax really can't fight him just because the wave is bigger than his own. He's going to take too much minion on the back end for this. So you should just let it push all the way to the tower and just have the wave reset. Poppy coming in again with the Nunu. And the Diana too, and we having the flash them all around. The Nami might go down, and the first blood does go to Edwin's Diana. Coming in, just using the R, getting some nice damage there. Jet's getting poked out once again, just making it where he has to try to avoid the Qs, not stay near the minions, because that way the Jarvan can hit the minion and him at the same time isn't going to be that great. Just like that in itself, it's just you don't want to be in those positions, so positioning yourself in the lane is very good. You should not try to hit the Jarvan under the tower because then he'll take the minion aggro when he's just trying to pick up that CS under tower. No Mercy Red gets up the Dragon, the Ocean Drake, which is going to be very good for all the laners in this early phase of the game. Pre 8-minute Ocean Drake is going to be really good, especially for this Jax who seems to be having a hard time in lane, and also for the Sivir who's going to be able to spam abilities. Considering that Jax is trying to harass under tower, getting the flash from the Rek'Sai, getting the ulti, and maybe get a trade kill back. No, the Triumphs are going to make it really hard. So using your stun like that as the Jax player, you don't really want to do, making it where you're using it under tower, and if you want to try to stun him under tower, it's really good, but if the Jarvan is playing it very smart, he's not going to auto you because he's going to take turret aggro, and then he could stun you under turret, so that's not going to happen. So you really don't want to use your stun under tower like that, and that made it where that gank and that dive was going to be successful because he didn't have it for that. And then you comes in with the gank, nothing really happens there, loses some health to the tower itself. Diana's getting pushed in, needs to clean up this wave, and we'll see what goes from there. I expect the Jarvan's going to be building this Phage into a Black Cleaver. Triforce not exactly one of those items that you see on that champion, while the Jax is going to also build Phage and probably into a Triforce, most likely, considering you don't see Black Cleaver on the champion either. Dancing ganked, has to flash away from the Nico ult. If he didn't, he would have died definitely from the combination of the Nico and the Rek'Sai. And then we're just going to be having some farming for a while. The bot lane for Predictive Gaming is going to base, and everything is just going to be farming away back and forth. There is some nice, or some decent vision for predictive gaming on the top side between the river bush and the scuttle crab, but the Nunu should be able to get in with the snowball through the wave. And the Nunu should really wait for a Q harass from the Jarvan before he goes in. That way he can't get out as easy like that. Otherwise, he's just going to take some harass from the Nunu, but they really shouldn't be able to dive him. Considering that the Jarvan does have ult, he's just going to ult him under tower, and so they all back out just before that would happen. Poppy roaming up to mid lane, maybe to try to get a gank out, but not going to happen. On the minimap, it looks like there are 2 Rek'Sais, but the one that's in base is coming out is the Nico, of course, in disguise, not showing the spectators what's going on, obviously. So try to get the illusion going up, and we're going to get the Sivir ulti, and they're going to try to go for a dive. That's not ever going to happen. The wave wasn't there, they can't do a dive without the wave there, and so the Sivir ulti is blowing for no reason. Diana's running back mid, trying to catch up that wave that was pushed in by the Nico, might be looking for the Nico kill itself. Doesn't get the wall stun. This actually might be a problem. Up with the Poppy ult right there. They're going to make it where the Vayne can't do it. Sivir's got to back up just a little bit. And Nunu be able to hit the snowball, and they're going to be able to get the kill maybe, but with the Nico ulti again, the return kill, because that has a lot of damage, and considering, the Ignite going on the Vayne does not get the kill. Oh, it does get the kill with the minions and the shield falling off the last second from the Aerie proc, but with the Nico ultis, a lot of damage, and considering that the Nunu had a lot of money to spend, he just completed his entire Cinderhulk. He wasn't sitting on that before. He was very squishy. He was just going to dive into the combination of the turret and also the Nico ult. Nico flashing away from the Diana, who just ulted onto her, who actually had the reset on the ult, so he might have died if he didn't flash away immediately. So it was a good flash on her part. And the Sivir is catching up on minions and actually getting a lot of plates off of this tower, showing where the early laning phase of the Sivir being very prominent and very good into the Vayne. Just later on, the Vayne does start becoming a problem versus the Sivir. Everyone basing at the same time, not exactly the most recommended thing. Pressure in certain lanes this way, but sometimes you can't help it. Bot lane pushing out. Could probably try to get some plates off of this. 4 plates on No Mercy Red's team compared to their 1 plate themselves. It'd be really cool if they can get that first tower relatively soon. We'll see how that goes. Maybe with the Nunu ganking, they might try to go for the first tower, which would be really nice, being able to then swap it up the top, which, helping out that Jax, who is behind about 20 CS. Let's see how that goes out for him. And Nico having the water gun. It's not actually a water gun, it's a Hextech GLP, but it looks like a water gun that shoots out little icicles. So we'll see how that goes. She does have that first M completed. That will help with her Keystone. And they're also No Mercy is going for their second dragon is another Ocean, which is again going to be very good considering laning phase is still going to go on for a little bit. It's also going to be very helpful for both of the teams. So we'll see how this goes. Just some farming up in the top lane. So turret plating is going to be falling very soon. The Jarvan gets out with his EQ, does get stunned up by the Jax. Probably not going to be able to do anything though, because he still has his ult. He can ult him in under turret, and they're not getting the first initial CC off. If the Diana was able to use her little Moonfall ability onto the Jarvan as he was EQing, they would have been able to stop him and get the kill, but that did not happen sadly. So no play was made. Turret planning has now gone off, being that very much every team except for the bot lane didn't really get too many plates. I think one fell in top lane, and otherwise No Mercy Red are the ones that have all the plating. Here's the Predator Nunu gank, getting with the new ulti, getting the kill onto the Vayne, but the Nunu's going to fall in response. Double TP coming in from the Diana and the Jarvan. And I imagine they're going to try to get the play. Oh, but the Nico roaming in though, using the water gun with a nice flash from the Poppy support. Jarvan's still looking forward with the Rek'Sai, clearing out the ward. Jax is now left alone in the top lane, being able to farm, catch up in CS, and put some pressure onto the top lane turret. So as far as CS is concerned, everyone's pretty even. You know, the Sivir down by 10 CS, which isn't too bad considering you'll probably get a lot of it in the next wave. The Jax being down 17 CS isn't ideal, but he's able to get a lot of pressure onto this turret, and he will be able to outscale the Jarvan with some items and some level.
Okay.
And No Mercy Red is able to pick up the first tower on the bot side, being that the pressure with the Sivir being able to push the waves constantly, and the fact that Nami and Vayne don't have too much wave clear, it makes a lot of sense. And it looks like No Mercy Red's also going to be going for the Rift Herald with the Nunu and the Jax, probably going to try to use that mid, considering it doesn't have any damage on the turret itself.
Alright, I should be able to look at this game now. See, I'm just now looking at a lot of things. I've been hearing a lot of things in the background. Oh, I didn't even. Oh, Edwin's playing Diana mid. Okay, that's a relatively new pick for me to see him play. Looking at that now.
Come on, that's 16 minutes old, man. Get me the time.
Yeah, I know. We finally have another rescheduled match playing in the background. The Nico again, okay.
No Mercy Red is swapping their bot lane to the top lane, which is to be expected. They need to be careful because they don't have vision of the Rek'Sai that could possibly be ganking. And Predictive Gaming is also rotating their bot side to the top side, also making this is going to switch lanes and hopefully try to prevent the turret from falling so far. But there are currently 4 members on the top side, so No Mercy Red does have to be very careful about how they're going to do this, considering they know that the Predictive Gaming's bot lane should be up here, considering they don't see him in the bot lane pushing, and no one's in mid lane also. So no one is showing, so they are backing off, but very rightly so they don't die and get killed by a massive 5-man gank. Nunu coming in with the snowball, not seeing the Rek'Sai and bamboozle that might be happening. The Poppy,
Poppy's like, nah. Oh no. Oh no.
It's a nice stopwatch by the Sivir, but still gonna die.
Let's see what No Mercy Red can do about that on the opposite side of the map. They do have the Jax pushing on the other side. We're doing that. Diana's also a pretty strong split push. Maybe we're gonna try to see if they can get something bot lane. Diana taking the red buff. And then
they
walking
should be
mid.
losing top turret for anything that's going to happen. The Jarvan does base, try to max the Jax. Diana should be pushing the mid wave. We'll see how this goes. It was a play that should honestly has never been made by No Mercy Red, knowing that they haven't seen anyone in mid lane and no one in bot lane. They knew that something was going to happen, and the 3v5 was not going to be successful for them.
Yeah. You're going to see if they can pick up this dragon as well. What dragon is that? I see that they currently already have double ocean, and that's going to be a mountain dragon that's coming up here soon. Diana's going to go ahead and back away from that tower. She probably honestly could have got some more damage on it, but she's playing it safe.
So No Mercy Red's going for the dragon, and if they get this dragon, it'll be really good considering they do have 2 split pushers. It's going to make it very easy to take towers and other objectives across the map. This is really nice. Between the Nunu, Consume, and Smite, they should be able to get this relatively easily and just back up from there. Honestly, they should send their top lane back, or they should send their bot lane, AD carry and support back to top lane, trying to get that turret, and have the mid lane be Diana and the bot lane be Jax. They're going to send the Rift Herald for mid lane itself. Don't know if they necessarily needed to do that considering they're all right there and they take it without the Rift Herald even charging. Now they're going to try to have the Rift Herald push in towards mid lane. Probably not going to get too much off of it, just get the charge and back off. After that, not exactly the most worthwhile Rift Herald, but you know it did get a lot of damage onto the mid turret, and they're all going to base at the same time, which is not going to be good. Sivir staying behind possibly to wave clear for the counter push. But they should definitely try to go back to their old lane assignments. Someone needs to cover the top wave, which is definitely over a wave and a half. The Jack should not be basing. He should definitely be going up there to grab that. There's just a lot of XP and money just being wasted currently. So we'll see how that goes from here. Predictive Gaming going to the top side of the map, thinking that someone's going to go up there to catch that wave, but no one is, and now the Jax is going to the top lane without any wards, so he is going to be overextending. Predictive Gaming is going to immediately be chasing onto the Jax as soon as they see him, and here we go, they're on their way.
Oh no!
Jax the flash and the counter
strike. But
should be able to get the Nico, which is very good. It's one of those things that once again,
trade a kill.
You need to have vision if you're going to be pushing out anyway. If you don't see anyone, you can't show yourself on the map just because they might be hiding in a bush and you don't know. And Baron's not up, so you know you're not doing that. So you just need to not push out of your own vision if you don't have anything, you don't see anyone. Diana was able to pick up the bot turret, which is really good. Well, actually, I think the bot turret was already gone. From the
it was already gone. Yeah.
She is in the jungle, and they're going to try to look for the play mid lane. And the Sivir and the Poppy are going to look for a play top lane. I don't highly recommend it because I definitely think Vayne is strong enough at this point where she would be able to duel the Sivir. But the play going on mid, they're able to get the shutdown onto the Rek'Sai and kill the Jarvan with a 3v2 play. And they're also able to pick up the secondary mid turret. They might be looking for Baron, 2 down being one of them being their most fed player, the Rek'Sai. This definitely could be a recommended thing to do. They just need to have everyone there to get the damage done. If the other team does show up, Nico having ulti, they will have to back off and try to fight after that. The Poppy is definitely going to need to shove the Nico away so that the Nico ult doesn't kill them all. And they jump into the Nico ulti, taking a lot of damage, trying to kill her off. But they should be able to get this Baron right here real easy. And be able to base and get all their backs up and spend their money. Jax is going for the Spear Shojin next, which he definitely can do considering that he is not too far behind. He doesn't really need to worry about the push factor in the 1v1 versus the Jarvan. It looks like the Diana is going for the Rabadon's Death Cap after the Oblivion Orb, trying to maximize that amount of burst she can do in her rotation. Is definitely one of the builds that you can do. A lot of Dianas actually just go for the Rabadon's Death Cap first, so it's definitely one of the things you can do, or Proto Belt. Sivir is looking to either build a static shiv or rapid fire cannon as a secondary item, while the Vayne is looking to build the Rage Blade,
yeah.
So that she can get those double procs off in the extended team fight. Nico does have the double slow items with the Spooky Ghosts and the Water Gun. And we'll see how that goes. It's a water gun that shoots ice.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
That is what it is. Rek'Sai, being the most fed player on their team, has decided to go for the Black Cleaver and the Warrior enchant. This is very good. I'm kind of hoping that he builds a GA after this so that he can still go in, have some damage, but be able to not
trying to go in onto the Diana, and that may not go out so well, but going to be able to ult the Diana, but then going to go down to the Diana. Here comes the Nico ult, here comes the Nunu ult. But looks like it may just be the Rek'Sai going down, trying to go in on the on Diana. They're gonna rotate over to this dragon. I love this new skin. Looks so happy.
Well, yeah, it's a Christmas one. It's gotta be happy. If you have a sad Christmas, that's pretty bad marketing.
Yeah, it's true.
Alright, so looking for maybe getting a catch onto the Nico mid lane, possibly with the Predator on the Nunu.
Can he make the turn? But it doesn't matter because here comes the Poppy. Looks like they are going to be able to get the catch onto the Nico.
Yep. So with this Baron buff, they weren't really able to get anything except for a couple kills on the Dragon, which is perfectly fine, but it would have been nice if they were able to break the base. Considering it was a 20-minute
Right.
Baron, it is really hard to defend against these Baron minions. And it looks like they're going to be pushing top to get that turret, but they only have 3 mage minions, and with any amount of decent wave clear, this actually won't be able to do a whole lot. They won't get too much damage onto the tower, especially if they don't auto it. Doing some poke from the Diana, having the next wave come in, being able to catch the turret, or be able to catch the wave and get the turret with the Jarvan being mid, which is not where you should be right now. Catching the wave is something you should try to do, but right now it's not the greatest thing. Nico ulting after the ghosties, trying to slow and catch them out with that, is not able to do it with the spell shield and the movement speed from everyone else, and the flash from the Sivir. Team No Mercy Red is going to base, reset, and get some items. 2 item power spikes are coming across the board. Jax with the Spear Trojan and the Triforce, with the Diana with the Oblivion Orb and the Rabadon's Death Cap, and the Sivir with the Static Shiv and the IE. So all their carries are very strong right now with the 2 item spikes. When you look at the across the board, the other team doesn't have nearly as many item spikes going on for them. The Jarvan only having the Caulfield's Warhammer as a secondary item after the Black Cleaver. The Rek'Sai being on the Black Cleaver and the Warrior Enchant for a decent while isn't getting that much stronger. And the Vayne not having, just completing the Rage Blade now, has now hit her 2 item spike. But the Nico having the Water Gun and the Ghosties, not exactly great combat-wise as far as stats are concerned, but you were looking for more of the utility, so you really want to be seeing like a half of a third item coming out from her, considering that the items are so cheap. And as far as CS is concerned, the Sivir is falling behind the Vayne because the No Mercy Red are grouping up quite a bit, and they're trying to share the CS between all their carries, which is not good because the Vayne is starting to catch up on farm and get ahead, making it where the carries in No Mercy Red aren't getting as much farm themselves. And Nunu looking like he's going to be getting caught, has to flash out the Cataclysm from the Jarvan, dodges the snare from the Nico, and the Poppy ult to send the Jarvan away after he uses his dash and his ulti is kind of a waste. Jax in the bot lane splitting against the Jarvan. Doesn't have wards. He's going to decide to fight right now. He really should be backing off because, again, he doesn't have that many wards, and he's not in the state where he can 1v3 yet. He does have the Spear Trojan, so he does getting all the buffs, but he's getting hit by all the CC.
Oh, boy.
And Baron's not up yet. In 3 seconds, it will
man.
be. So this is just a mistake by the Jax. You really shouldn't be overextending. They are going to be starting the Baron now, and they might be able to get it before Predictive Gaming is able to get there in time. But this is one of those things where if they had their own faster champions or Cloudrakes, they could get there in time. And once again, the Baron's going to be in contention until they're able to smite it. And Predictive Gaming is able to steal the Baron.
If they kill everyone, then uh-oh. Oh, looks like they're going to be able to kill everyone. He's definitely dead. Oh, no. Big mistake on the side of No Mercy Red. The Jax getting caught out too early. I think it's a good idea. The right idea is to have the Jax on the opposite side of the map to pressure for Baron, but he was too far up. He was too far up, able to get caught out, and they were able to just be able to kill him and then rotate over and kill them at the Baron.
Alright, and this is one of those things where you have to think about whether or not it's, you have one item and a half Jarvan who really can't fight your 2 item Jax, and the Jarvan's going in on you, and you really have to think, is this guy dumb enough to be fighting me knowing he's going to lose 1v1? And it's like, I mean, if you really think that, then you have the disrespect for your opponent, but it's like, obviously it's not going to happen, right? He's going to have someone right behind him, so you have to think about it that way. If they go in and you're going to win the 1v1, there's obviously something happening behind that. And it's just one of those things where, honestly, what they really needed to do is have that happen. Poppy with the ulti pops the Nico away. After the ulti goes off, though, it takes a little bit of damage. New rolling in with the snowball. Entire Predictive Gaming backing off.
Able to get the dragon. They got the dragon.
Yeah, maybe thinking that without the Nico ult, they wouldn't win the fight. So giving all the dragons over to No Mercy Black. And there should be another elemental. Yeah, another mountain drake is going to be spawning for them because the dragon was taken before the 30-minute mark. So if this game goes any longer, they're going to possibly get another mountain dragon so that they can take those objectives, especially fast and early, and then making it with the Elder Dragon is going to be really threatening and just one of the best buffs in the game.
Maximum dragon this game from No Mercy Red, potentially be able to get 6 elemental dragons.
Oh yeah. So once again, it's being one of the situations where No Mercy Red should really be looking to, playing their split push style, because once again, their 5v5s are honestly not as good. And we're gonna have the Rek'Sai fighting the Diana. Once again, it's one of those things.
Can fight them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she can fight him, but like it's one of those things. Once again, the reason why the Diana's backing up is because the Diana knows this isn't a 1v1, because there's no way this Rek'Sai is 1v1ing me. Even though the Rek'Sai is fed, as soon as the Rek'Sai got chunked, they should know. And this is where the other team pops up. Jax gets the kill on the Rek'Sai, but they are low from the Nico. Alright, so what No Mercy Red should be doing right now is trying to send the Diana bot lane or the Jax bot lane and sending the other one to the top lane with the 3 remaining members of their team going in the mid lane, covering up those super minions and being able to push it out, having pressure and drawing out everyone else. Considering that Predictive Gaming's team, besides the Vayne, doesn't have anyone that can really 1v1 the Diana or the Jax. But having the 2 carries in one lane trying to share farm is not going to be good, and it's going to be putting the Sivir or the Jax further behind than they need to be. So they really need to be putting these guys in separate lanes and trying to put pressure and drawing thin the Predictive Gaming, considering that they don't have the 1v1 champion. So they're all in the bot lane, trying to push in this bot tower, not really paying any attention to the pressure they could be putting on top lane, considering they do have double teleport, and both of the teleports are up. They're not really trying to make use of that teleport whatsoever, considering that Jarvan doesn't have teleport, and they're not making that advantage.
They're not like the greatest Siege team either, right? Besides Sivir, I think they...
No, Sivir's bad at sieging too, because...
I don't think they should be...
Yeah, her range is really low, and like her auto attack / like attack speed from her W makes it where she hits other players too, so she'll just take tower aggro.
Yeah, it definitely looks like their team composition is set up to run like a 1-3-1 or something like that.
That's what they need to do.
So
they need to put their split pushers in the side lanes, the ones with teleport, and putting the other 3 in the mid lane or the top lane, swapping that out, considering that Baron is up relatively soon. But they're all just continuing to go down mid, having Diana base, maybe buying that Zhonya's, which is a pretty big buy, but honestly they need to make it where they're all on the map, trying to put pressure on, especially the Baron coming up relatively soon. Putting the Jax in the bot lane probably is going to be the best, considering he has the more likely chance of getting away with his leap strike, being able to go over walls, and drawing that pressure like last time, but making it where he can't be overextended and die before the Baron's actually up itself. No Mercy Red is trying to play safe, farming their own jungle instead of being out on the map. Diana is playing very far back, like she should be, making it so that she can't get caught out before the Baron and before his team has pressure, before they have vision on everyone. The Jax is basing once again, maybe to be buying the Sterix Gauge, which would be a really decent buy right here. He picks that up. He's going back to the top lane. He's going to be pushing that out. The Diana can now show bot lane because you can pretty much see everyone mid, but now she needs to be backing off because you don't have vision of the enemy team. And they're all going to be going down for her possibly to collapse. And they need to be doing this so that they can go over to Baron and put pressure on that, knowing that if they do send people over to the Diana, they can now pick up the Baron. And Predictive Gaming now realizes that they can't send 5 people bot lane because then they'll lose the Baron. But now that they don't have anyone going down bot lane, the Diana can now pick up the turret. And it looks like they actually might be getting the Baron itself also.
They're going to opt for the fight here, and then here going to the Nika ultimate. And yeah, Diana is able to get okay, here comes the bait popping up, but is going to get stunned by the poppy, but is going to be able to cleanse that stun. Hitting the QSS, and it looks like they're going to have to pick up everybody here. But meanwhile, over here, we see the J4 actually 1v1 in the Diana. So now they could be in a lot of trouble here. Oh, not able to W that. Is that even, can Poppy even W the Rek'Sai ultimate? Is that a thing?
No, I shouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
It's not.
So it looks like looks like that's going to be Baron for Predictive Gaming instead.
It is one of those things where, once again, it's Nico might die.
Yeah, Nico going down, but I'm pretty sure they're still going to be able to get that Baron.
It's one of those things where they needed to finish the Baron because they do not have the team fight to be able to fight Predictive Gaming's comp. Their damage is just their team fight is just too good. And also Diana died without using Zhonya's there, so that is something that is a little of a mishap. They are going to lose the last dragon also, so even if they didn't get the Baron, if they just peeled off immediately and they didn't fight, they would have gotten the dragon too, but now they only have the 5 dragon stat, which is still really strong. But they need to be able to wait out this Baron and hopefully be able to not die to any of the pressure that it creates. Yes, Killer, if they do finish the Baron, they all die, but then they get the Baron. Well, now they all die, the enemy team gets the Baron. So
yeah, exactly.
It's better if you have the Baron and all die than the enemy team having the Baron and you die.
Yeah.
So it looks like the Vayne is going for the Bloodthirster. Honestly, don't think that's what should go. Definitely should be going for the IE next. You already have a decent amount of life steal from the Blade of the Rune King, but it's to each their own for that kind of thing. So with the Silver Wave clear, they are able to clear out a lot of these waves, making it pretty hard for them to be able to siege, which is, what the win condition of Silver is. Once again, they're all 5 here, which makes sense. They still have the teleport advantage, but with the Baron, it does make it really hard to be able to push that advantage, just because the minions are fairly strong. Nunu coming in with the flank for the Predator, the Vayne ulting.
Okay, able to kill the Nico, but where is the Vayne? Keep track of the Vayne. 3 jams is in the back. They're gonna go. Jax is onto the Vayne. The Vayne's going to be able to kill the Jax. The Vayne's going to be able to kill Big Silver 2. The Vayne picking up a triple kill. Whoa, that's not what you want. The Vayne was able to stay alive. The Jax was not able to kill the Vayne, able to outplay them, and the Vayne and the Rex are going to clean up the fight. And it looks like that could potentially be GG with the Baron buff, and the Vayne is still alive. Oh no, not what you want to see. Three jams. That's my ADC. 3 jams coming up with the musical performance yesterday and with some dancing moves on Vayne, able to pick up the victory for Predictive Gaming over No Mercy Red. Man, oh man, that was so many macro. I feel like there are a lot of macro mistakes in that game. That really just kind of threw it for No Mercy Red.
Yep, see the Vayne with the most damage. It's one of those things where, once again, if they were gonna give up the inhib, they just can't win the 5v5, and they needed to realize that. But they went for it anyway, and making it where they just lose the game off of that fight. Honestly, what they needed to do is just give up the inhib if they needed to, and then wait for the Baron buff to wear off, and then go back into their split push style, and maybe have the Jax go against the Jarvan, and then be able to split to win, because you do have the wave clear from the Sivir, making it where they can't take any of your base towers or anything like that, and it would have been really good. But they decided to go for the fight and roll the dice on that victory. So that is it for today for me, guys. We're going to have another caster come in and cast the rest of the games for tonight. I do have some things to take care of before my own game. So it'd be nice seeing you guys, and have a good night.